All right. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday edition Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Battery's getting a little low. Plug this thing in. As I mentioned, y'all are probably going to have to excuse me a little bit. Got a little allergy sinus thing going on. I'm trying not to be snotty and nasally and all that sort of stuff, but it might be inevitable at some point throughout this. Hey, Drew.
What are you saying?
Hey, bud. Let's say some good mornings here. Huh?
What were you just saying?
I was just telling them I'm sneezing and snotty and stuff. So I did get tested for COVID. I am negative.
Don't look at me.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You keep saying I didn't say go get tested for COVID. I just said I got vaccinated. I want to make sure Drew didn't get it again. I already gave it to Drew once. I don't know if I just give it to him.
Anyway. All right, so SEC, could they be expanding beyond 16 teams? Very interesting question asked there. There was at least one report last evening that the SEC has reached out to power programs in other leagues about joining the Southeastern Conference. Could they be on the verge of forming a mega conference, which would include the likes of Clemson, Florida State, Ohio State, and Michigan? Maybe so. Maybe so. We actually talked about that with Chuck Oliver at SEC Media Days, if you heard that interview on Thursday. His hypothesis was that somewhere down in the bottom drawer of Greg Sankey's desk, he has this grand master plan to create just, don't think of it as like NCAA football, but think of it as Southeastern Conference football. Now, you have to keep in mind, it's not the SEC within a larger structure with different conferences. It is SEC football, not NCAA football in which the SEC resides. It's SEC football, and you have your own deal. But you keep expanding that with better and better teams. It's interesting to see where all this lands. Like, whenever the realignment talk happened 10 years ago, I don't think everyone quite understood just how big of a deal it was, because the previous bouts of realignment were relatively minor compared to what happened 10 years ago, right? I mean, it was the SEC added Arkansas and South Carolina in 1992. The ACC added Miami and Virginia Tech, right? Like, it was relatively minor moves here at Penn State going into the Big Ten, so they actually became the Big 11. So, those moves were relatively minor, and so I think a lot of people thought that's what was going to happen 10 years ago, but it ultimately, like, the whole landscape shifted. The Big Ten added, the Pac-12 added, the SEC added, the American was formed, the Big East was all. It was a giant move, and I think this one could be potentially even bigger. And let's say some good mornings. AJ Holland, Jason Truax, Jeff McKithen, Kelly Presley, good morning. Ed Check, good morning. The real get is OU. UT just part of the package. I don't think so, Ed. I mean, competitively in the last 20 years, it's fair to say Oklahoma has had the better program. It's absolutely fair to say. But they're both brand name schools, and Texas is richer than everybody. So, I mean, there's no doubt, like, you want that brand name, that affiliation. So, Robert Groff, good morning. Tom Grandin, good morning. Kyle Perez. I have A&M. Oh, is A&M having a temper tantrum they're going to get over, or is this going to be long lasting? I don't think so, Kyle. I think I understand A&M's perspective. of wanting to be the only school in the state of Texas. But what's your alternative, right? I don't know that they have one. Would you go back to the failing Big 12? You know, I mean, they really don't have a better option. Now they're 10 years into their SEC journey, and if the league expands with Texas and Oklahoma, say in 2023, so not this season or next, but the following, let's say it's 2023. Well, A&M have been in the league for 13 seasons, 12, 13 seasons, and that's a pretty significant head start. I mean, I think A&M is fundamentally different as a program right now than what they were when they came into the league. So, no, I think A&M will be fine. Brady Bolin, good morning. Nose running because you're so cool. Thank you, Brady. Craig Dugas, SEC expansion is awful, shouldn't happen. Okay. I don't know if the nature of your text is joking there or not. I don't know if the eye roll is making fun of the people that say that or because you think it shouldn't happen. Hey, Dad, good morning. Mark Bork, good morning. AJ Holland, that's going to be a new bit on Friday's AFR. Terrier's Texas Longhorn impersonation needs some refinement. If y'all remember when LSU played in Austin in 2019, that's what started when Terrio would just make fun of the cities that LSU was playing in. Sorry, y'all. If you just joined, I told you I'm sorry, I know it's gross, but I got an allergy sinus thing going on. It is not COVID. I tested yesterday. I am negative. It's just allergies. But I'm very sorry. David Hawes, good morning. Brant Robin, how do you feel about not playing Bama in Florida every year? Don't care. I just genuinely don't care. Someone asked me that yesterday, and I don't care. I wish they would get rid of the permanent crossover. I don't want that to begin with. And if you don't play Bama every year, okay. I'm still going to be an LSU fan. I'm still going to watch every single game. I'm still going to be fired up if they win. I don't know how this is. I mean, look. I know I said yes. LSU does not have a traditional rival. So when I was in school at LSU, the Bama game wasn't big. I mean, Auburn was huge. Things are cyclical. In the 50s, it was LSU Ole Miss. Then it was Bama, although LSU never won. And then, in the mid-2000s, you were talking about LSU and Florida flip-flopping national championships, and that was the biggest game on the schedule. Like, we're just in an era where Bama's dominating, and it's the game people circle, but it ain't going to be like, Saban won't be there forever, and it won't be like that forever. So, no, I don't care if they play that game every year or not. Trivia Carter, good morning. Cliff Nelson, good morning. Star Hill Stunners, good morning. Merrick Mathern, like button smash. Thank you, YouTube. Smash the like button. Cliff Nelson, Matthew Pittman, good morning. Working on a streak, 2 in a row. There you go, Matthew. Appreciate that. Damon Hinderberger, good morning. Strong Side, good morning. How's the family? We're good, man. Thank you. Merrick, good morning. Roger Witcher, good morning. Dale Broussard, already down on the Tigers over UCLA and over 8.5 wins this season. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Excuse me. I know it's gross. I think LSU wins and covers against UCLA, and I would go over 8.5. I think both those are good. George Reitmeyer, how about the Red Sox? George, how about you leave? I'm not asking you to stay here. Get out of here, George. You stink. I'm not going to say your name right anymore, George. Reitmeyer. So I'm going to start saying to you, George Reitmeyer. Say your name wrong on purpose, George. That's what I'm going to do. Roger, do you think Texas could be a cancer of the SEC? Like they have been for other conferences? No. And I wouldn't say, Roger, that they've been a cancer to other conferences. Realistically, they're a school that has tremendous leverage and has used it with lesser partners. The difference in this instance is Texas comes into the SEC and they're coming into a situation where the league doesn't need them. Right, like the Big 12 needed Texas and Oklahoma to stay for their league to be viable. When they were talking about creating the Pac-16 with Texas and Oklahoma, the Pac-12 needed them for the cachet and the brand awareness. The SEC already has that. And if it's not Texas or Oklahoma, they could go get any, they could go get Clemson and Florida State out of the ACC. I mean, any team would jump into the SEC. So it's a little different, right? Like Texas just doesn't have leverage. Like the league they're in is struggling, and they're looking for a life raft. So you're not floating on a life raft in the ocean. The big boat comes and picks you up, and then you start making demands of everybody on the boat that just picked you up, right? Felix Abair, good morning. Carl the Cat, Michael Thomas can kick rocks, wait until June to get surgery. Hey, Carl, I'll tell you this, man. Before you start throwing out something like that, I would tell you pump the brakes. When you're talking about someone who's that high level of an athlete and an organization with a medical and training staff, excuse me, with an organization with medical and training staff like New Orleans, everyone's objective is for Michael Thomas to be on the field. Everyone's. If you think he was just negligent and careless and waiting until June knowing he needed to get surgery, that's just ignorant, dude. Like, Carl, you know I love you, man. But let's wait till we get the whole story. Like, maybe he was told to put it off, and then he tried to start going again in June to get ready for the season, and it flared up again. Like, what if that happened? And he put it off because of doctor's advice, and maybe they wouldn't need surgery. Like, what if he tried alternate treatments like stem cells or something? My point is, don't tell a dude to kick rocks. Like, oh, why did you wait till June to get surgery? He was probably advised to do that. Robert. Excuse me. Told y'all, bro. Excuse me. I wonder if this is just like, I'd been in Alabama and I come back to Louisiana and my allergies just like flare up like this. It's crazy. Ugh. Let's see, Kyle, Matt, can you explain to us how cool or interesting it was to be at media days and witness the firestorm when the news or rumors started? I wouldn't say that it was cool or interesting. From my perspective, Kyle, I would tell you I was just grateful that the news broke right before 3 o'clock. So for timing purposes, it worked out great for me. Tom Grandig, if you can't beat him, join him. Matthew Pittman, you're doing a great Coach O impression. Coach O does a lot during his teleconferences and whatnot. Gulf South, speaking of Chuck Oliver, I heard your interview on his radio show and had to ask, you can't seriously believe LSU's issues are in the same atmosphere as with Penn State, do you? So then maybe you didn't hear the interview. And that's something that I've said that in Baylor since this broke. You can make whatever you want out of the nature of the allegations, but the big picture point is that coaches and administrators, athletic and academic, university administrators, knew illegal behavior was going on and intentionally covered it up to protect someone within the football program. At its core, that is the same thing. Now, Jerry Sandusky was doing heinous things with children. But how is it any different than LSU football players raping and sexually assaulting women on campus, the head coach, support staff within the athletic department, university administrators knowing about it and covering it up? Like, the thing, like, you're gonna get me rolling this morning, bro. Like, here's the biggest pain in my ass with people like you. And I'm not trying to point just people like you. I'm just saying people who have that opinion, because I guarantee you, you have not read the Hush Blackwell report. I guarantee it. I guarantee you have not taken the time to sit there and read that report about what was going on at LSU. That's the problem. That's the biggest problem. Y'all all assume it's no big deal because it hasn't blown up to a media firestorm the way those did. But go read that. Take the time. Take the time out of your day to go read that, to educate yourself, and then you will see. You will see what those administrators have acknowledged doing in violating federal Title IX law. You have the United States Department of Education investigating LSU right now. Problem is, you're all up in your feelings about your football team. That's the biggest problem. All you care about, you don't care about women that were raped or assaulted. All you care about is LSU trying to win football games. That is for me at my core nauseating. I'm sick of adult humans defending and excusing heinous illegal behavior so it can benefit their college football team. Taylor Tremaine, good morning. Heard your segment with Marucci World Series yesterday. I'm actually umpiring a few games for it. Excited to see some of the nation's best talent. How about, I learned yesterday, Dylan Cruz was the home run derby champion in that a few years ago. Jonathan Martin, good morning. Brant Roban, looking forward to playing UT more often. Get to watch my Tigers up here in Knoxville. There you go. Brant, I'm serious, man. Like, the fact that you can go, like, LSU's going to go 14 years. 14 years without playing in Lexington is ridiculous. I mean, yeah, everybody needs to play more often. Kyle Gallo, morning Scone, love the shirt. Gotta get the beans. Oh, man. This is a Curb Your Enthusiasm reference. Larry David opens a coffee shop called Latte Larry's. It's a spite store. Kyle Gallo, Kelly Gross, Brady Bolin, thank you, letting him hang. Brandon Atchison seems like one of those can't beat him, join him kind of deals. Reagan Lee, if O has a really good season, do you think his job is safe? Also, one of these investigations and things that are being investigated come to a close. Does it even matter if O has a good season? All good questions, Reagan. I think because of everything going on outside of football, he needs to have a strong season. I think 9 is where he has to be to feel safe. Unless and until we get more and more information on the Title IX stuff. Should I blow my nose loud on this thing?
No, but just why don't you step away, or just like if you need to.
Thank you.
You don't have to blow it, we can just need to.
You want to watch me blow my nose?
No, that's disgusting. Don't.
Okay.
I mean, really? You like step away.
We're all friends here.
There's no female who would ever do that.
Do what? Blow your nose?
On camera.
I'll turn away. They can't see me.
It's still right there.
Ah, well. If I move right there, they can still hear it. Right? Danny Brake, what is an actual endowment? Is it cash on hand or pledged money? Cash money, bro. Cash money. Like, that is money in the bank. Money in the bank. Daniel Laurent, morning, Matt. SEC moves to 16 teams. Do you see other conferences do the same? Maybe moving into 4 mega conferences into the future. I don't know how it's going to be structured, Daniel, but I absolutely expect the rest of college football will react to what's happening. So Ross Dellinger had a piece where an ACC athletic director suggested that maybe their league try to go national. So maybe you partner with some teams in the Big Ten, maybe a few teams in the Big 12, and the power teams in the Pac-12 to create like a 60 or like a 32 team league that stretches the entire country. So then you have as far as allure, draw, you have it all across the country, as opposed to just, you know, a small footprint in the southeast. Lenny Moss, good morning. Ed Check, time to drop a rent-a-win game and add a conference game. Absolutely. That was long ago. I dropped it because, I mean, just think about what you said, Ed. Like, just think about what you just said. To win. Like, we joke about it. Rent-a-win, cupcake, body bag games. We all know it's a farce. Like, you're renting you're paying someone to come get their ass kicked. That's what you're, like, just to stockpile a W and collect a gate receipt. Like, how awful is that? Who wants that? Troy Abear, great job handling Joe in Mandeville yesterday. He's a troll who constantly calls WWL, tries to talk with Texas. There was a guy at the end of the show called and was like, Texas is ready to come. I was like, I haven't won anything in any sport in 20 years. How long ago was Vince Young? 04? Almost 20 years. They haven't won anything in any sport in almost 20 years. Janelle Carson, good morning. David Hawes, is there any chance SEC gets rid of Vanderbilt? Nope. Zero chance. 0.000. Jeff Stipe, great for the SEC, bad for college football and fans of those teams left out. I mean, I don't know that I necessarily agree, Jeff. I mean, the market is what the market is. I mean, if you're not any school anybody wants to see, yeah, that's what it is, man. You can go play. Just go play in your own league. You don't have to disband your program. Philip Smith, good morning. Troy Abear, how do you think the Saints handle the loss of Mike Thomas? Troy, I did a video on this yesterday, or a segment on this on AFR yesterday. And, man, I don't know. Here, I'll link the video in the comments so you can see it. But for a lot of reasons, there are no obvious choices among veteran free agents. If you wanted to trade, say, for someone like Devontae Adams or make a play for that, I don't think the Saints have the money to. Let me rephrase that. You can always make the money work, right? As I talk about, but you paid Michael Thomas $100 million, so you're not going to have two $100 million wide receivers on your roster. So that doesn't seem viable. I guess you just got to hope that one of your guys currently on the roster steps up. Let's see, Brant Roban, when's expansion going into effect? So, Brant, it hasn't even been confirmed, but it seemed, the reports yesterday were that within 2 weeks it should be solidified, and I would think likely for 2023. Greg Dugas, not sure if you into tequila. I am. Recently got a bottle of Tears of Llorona, worth every penny. It's amazing, like really, really good. Good to know. Yeah, Craig, when I'm by the pool, like during summer months, I drink tequila. I don't drink brown liquor by the pool. So when I'm outside, it's hot. Tony Williams, Troy Haber, thank you. Brady, Matt, you need some Sazerac, right, to clear out those sinuses. I know it's not even 9 yet, but YOLO, dog. I did have a whiskey last night before I went to bed. Kind of ease the throat a little bit. Let's see. Who'll be the real... Oh, wait. David Hawes, when, if Texas enters the SEC, what is the appetite desire to reestablish the Texas A&M final game rivalry? Personally, I've enjoyed the building momentum with LSU and A&M final game rivalry. Yeah, David, it's a good question. The pod structure, I don't know if y'all saw this, but I think this is the way they would have to go if they stop at 16. I don't know if they will, but if they do stop at 16. This was on the SEC network. And the fact that they put this on the SEC network is interesting. But basically they have a pod that includes LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. And then the pod with Texas would be Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas. And then you'd have Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, South Carolina, Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Vanderbilt. So those would be your pods, and you'd play the other 3 teams in your pod every year, and then 2 teams from each pod on a rotating basis. So every 4 years, you would play everybody in the league twice. You'd play, and every 4 years, you would go to every stadium in the SEC, and everybody would come to you every 4 years. Like, that's the best format. But under this, they have Texas and Texas A&M not in the same pod, so they would play, but it would not be every year. Ed, check with you on the investigation. So coach needs to go now, so the season not totally blown up. I just don't think they're going to do it right now, Ed. I mean, the fact that LSU completely refused any sort of legitimate discipline for people who broke federal law is hideous. So it's the first time in my life I've given no money at all to LSU. They call me. They call me all the time because I don't donate to LSU athletics. I give money to LSU, to the manship school, to alumni, to scholarship fund. I gave no money this year at all since all this broke. None. They call. I give them no money. Like, nope. Not until all these people are fired. I will not give money to this university that supports people who are covering rape and sexual assault on campus. Allegations from students. Heinous, bro. Got adult people just letting it go. Kick rocks. Do you think the potential addition of UT and OU moves Bama and Auburn to the SEC East? Yeah, Marquise, I don't think it's going to be an East-West. I think the way they'll do it is likely that pod structure that we were talking about. Let's see, Craig. Problem is some people would rather believe fly-by-night podcasters with sauces because Edo is one of us and LSU is his dream job over people with actual media credentials. It's, Craig, it's not even about podcasters or media. Like, LSU hired a law firm to independently investigate everything that happened. They did. They filed a very detailed 150-page report upon which the president of the university, along with the board of supervisors, had held a meeting, which was open to the public and broadcast live, where they acknowledged all of their shortcomings, all of the things they did wrong, their lack of ability to protect students, the students they were charged with nurturing. Like, they owned it all. They owned everything that was written. And then decided they were just going to suspend 2 people for 30 days and add an HR person. Like, it's nauseating. I mean, you commit murder, be like, yeah, my bad, man. Look, I'll just go to my room for the evening, you know. Blaine Smith, college sports has now peaked. Elite players will probably only play 2 years. Sooner or later, the NFL will have a G League like the NBA, or allow players to play out of high school after the freshman year. There's a sophomore basketball player in high school about to be a millionaire of NIL. So, Blaine, here's why you're wrong. Number one, I don't know that there's ever been, literally ever, a high school athlete that's ready to go from high school to the NFL. Physically, you're just not developed enough. That's number one. Number two, the NFL will never form a G League because, or a minor league sort of thing, because that costs money. Lots of it. Because at football teams, you need enormous rosters and equipment and coaches, whereas in a NBA's G League type setting, you got I don't know what the G League is, 12, 15-man roster, whatever it is. And all you really need are basketballs and jerseys. I mean, the overhead is tremendous. So why invest in that when you've already got a minor league system in college? So keep in mind, like, the players that opt out after a year or two and decide not to play, you better be Jamar Chase if you want to not hurt your draft stock. Because there were tons of guys that didn't play last year who opted out and who went undrafted. So No, that's not exactly how that's going to roll. Football is it's an apples and oranges comparison with football and college basketball. Kenneth Martin, good morning. Matthew Brock, Hudco number 15. Did you notice the proposed pods? They put the worst team in the SEC in Bama's pod, but they also put Auburn and Tennessee. Is there a vote by the current SEC school presidents and or athletic directors to allow new schools in the conference? Yes. Eddie Burgard, how would they decide SEC champion if they go with the four pods? Probably the top two records would go play in the championship game. But I would say, like, I would also be just fine doing away with the conference championship game because the conference championship game sucks. Like, you do realize the conference championship game was created only as another TV window and a revenue generator. That's it. That's the only reason it's there. I mean, for 100 years or 70 years, whatever, they had no conference championship game because there was no need. You play the conference season, and whoever has the best record wins. It's like, look at every other sport. You play, it's like the conference tournament, right? You have in baseball or basketball, you have a regular season champion and you have a tournament champion. Well, the tournament was only created as a revenue generator. That's literally the only reason it was created. So you don't need it. And I mean, I would be fine doing away with it, but you just take the two teams with the best record to let them play. Let's see. Trivia. If O-Tanks, who would be a great replacement? Jimbo or Lane Kiffin? Texas OU. Hello. This has been going on for over a year. Presidents of the SEC did a good job keeping their mouth shut. Yeah, I don't think the presidents of the SEC were aware. A&M certainly wasn't aware. I think Texas and OU were aware and did a great job of silencing it. What about Hugh Freeze? Yeah, I don't think you're going to hire somebody with off the field issues during this time in LSU's history where you've got Title IX issues going on, severe Title IX issues, which is why Kevin O'Sullivan isn't your coach right now. So that Labus signed with the Twins. Yeah, that was actually before we left for media days that he signed. Yep. Here's hoping he gets a great opportunity there. Matthew Pittman, I moved to Alabama 5 years ago. Never had allergies in my life in Louisiana. That Alabama pollen hits different. No, but I think, like, Matthew, I think it's only happened stuff come back. Like, I was fine all week at SC Media Days, but, like, when I got back, I mean, all of this just, ooh. Can't believe 3-on-3 basketball is an Olympic sport. It looks like a pickup game at the Y. Matt, it's a delayed reaction. You're allergic to the state of Alabama. I don't know, but do y'all remember when we went to y'all may not remember this, maybe you do. When we went to Tennessee for vacation in June, a lot of y'all said, Matt, like, you don't sound nasally at all. I think all my stuff cleared up when we were in Tennessee. I think it's just the air in Louisiana, man. It's just all the pollen and everything in the air, and then just be around Baton Rouge, just with all the... I don't think our air is super clean here with chemical plants all over the place, but yeah. Let's see, Jesse Brown, morning, Matt. I want to get your reaction to the Michael Thomas news. Here you go. And again, the why he waited to have surgery is something you have to ask the medical staff. But I'm going to trust that wasn't a decision Michael Thomas made, out of negligence to try to not play. This doesn't make any sense. Cliff Nelson, never BS your audience, Scone 101. You got it. I hear you, Carl the Cat. Alka-Seltzer dissolvable tablets work great for sinus issues. Okay. Gulf South. Didn't read the report. I'm not saying LSU's issues aren't bad. I just see decades of child molesting being far worse than what's been reported at LSU. So, in your mind, child molestation is worse than raping and assaulting women? Like, I don't know, man. They both seem pretty freaking awful. Like, you deserve an eternity of burning in hell for those crimes. And again, I'm not saying it's my point is the similarities are you had illegal behavior, heinous illegal behavior going on, and coaches and administrators at the academic, athletic, university levels knowing about it and covering it up to protect football players, or in that case, a coach. And again, you're saying that that's far worse, and you haven't read the report. Texas legislature trying to block the move. Wow. Good luck. Saw Kansas reach out to the Big Ten. They should. I mean, I saw. Look, there's reports everywhere, right? So it's the. This is where the one thing I would tell you is just look for credibility, right? I mean, like anybody could throw out a report now about conversations that might be having. You can anonymously source anything, and maybe conversations are being had. There's no way to ever prove or disprove them, but just be on the lookout. Like I'll tell you flatly, in 2011 when that round of realignment happened, Chip Brown, who covers Texas, he broke every story in every league about realignment. I mean, he was the guy at the forefront of all of it. So Chip's going to be on AFR on Monday, but like that's a guy I would absolutely trust. Dellinger's a guy who's as connected as anybody in the major college football landscape. I trust Ross's reporting. So just decide. Be careful with who you trust. Spurge, what's up, man? Kyle Milliken, Matt Woodward, Ed's Poppy after the season. Kyle, I'm telling you, if they fire him, it's for cause. They wouldn't owe him anything. They'd probably negotiate a settlement. If they fired him. So, like, that whatever that number is, just I would ignore it. Because if that happened, it would be a negotiated settlement. Pat Huseman, Dave Vendeur, Marucci World Series opening ceremonies at the box. Had Kyle Acord from Marucci on AFR yesterday to promote it. Seems like it's going to be an awesome event, man. Kids from the 2,300 high school baseball players from, I think they said 17 different states coming in. Pretty awesome. Live music and the party begins at 3:30. The opening ceremonies themselves begin at 6:30? 6:30? 6? Maybe 6. 6 or 6:30. Star Hill Stunners, all the non-conference games should be a school from Power 5 instead of run-and-wins. I agree. My opinion is let's play an 11-game schedule, 10 conference games, 1 Power 5 non-conference game. Play an 11-game schedule. Do away with or 2 Power 5 non-conference games. Do away with conference championship games and have your expanded playoff. Hunter Picard. They keep listening to the AYS podcast where Homeboy was calling you out about what you said on Chuck Oliver's show. Y'all, I don't. Some of y'all keep bringing that up. Like, I don't know who that is. I clearly using whatever I say as content, and I guess part of me's flattered by that. Like, I've never understood doing a show where your show is based on talking about the opinion of somebody else. Like, if you're good at what you do, you create your own, you have your own opinions and you can communicate them effectively, and that's your show. So whoever that is, like, I don't know who that is. I don't care. And I would encourage you that if you're listening to someone whose show is critiquing another media person's opinion, like, they're not creative enough to come up with their own show. Like, what would happen if the person whose opinion they're constantly critiquing stops doing a show? Well, then they don't have a show. So anyway, I don't know who that is. I've never spoken to that person ever. Like, literally, could walk through the door, punch me in the face. I have no idea who that is. So I don't know what else to tell you. Let's see, Cortland. I have allergies in Louisiana. Never had them in Georgia growing up. Different regions have different flora. Makes sense. Are we headed in the direction of Power 4 instead of Power 5? Probably. I mean, listen, if Texas and Oklahoma leave the Big 12, there is no more Big 12. Well, there is no more Big 12 in the sense of a Power 5 league. That league was being propped up by their two powers. And what likely happens is Hi, bud. If Texas and Oklahoma leave, which it seems they will, the other teams that are perceived to have value, possibly in Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Baylor, they could stay in the Big 12 and try to go add teams from the American. Like the Big 12 could stay as it is and add Houston or Tulane, something like that. But hey, bud, come see. I want to tell you something. I want to tell you something. Hey, come see. I want to tell you something. Come see. Hey, come here.
No.
He said, no, and walked away. Let's see. What's the scoop on Trip had ad from Jesuit High School? I don't know. I think that's I saw on Twitter, that's the baseball commit. I just saw that Terrio, quote tweeted him, congratulating, but I could ask Ryan, but I don't know. Cotton Milk and Brooks Cabina is leaving to go to the Houston Chronicle. Did a good job here. Best of luck to him. Yeah, man, I talked to Brooks at Media Days. So he's from Houston, and he's going to be the Houston Texans beat writer for the Chronicle. So gets to go to his home city, cover the NFL team. Really good opportunity. Hey, babe.
And every time you go around these sports people, you get sick. You didn't travel at all last year because of COVID, and then
I got COVID in November.
no, I said I'm not saying you only get sick, but then whenever you were going to Atlanta the year before, you got sick the whole time.
I think that was COVID.
I think these people, sports people, need to be a little more clean.
Maybe that was just being in the Atlanta airport around cold and flu season.
I'm just saying, every time you go on a sports thing, you get sick.
Not every time.
The past 3 sports things you've gone on, you got sick.
What are the last 3?
This, SEC Media Days, and then Atlanta.
Well, this is at SEC Media Days.
Yeah, you got sick.
But I went to Atlanta for
What was the
the
last time you traveled for sports before this? Yeah.
because I went to Atlanta twice in 2019 for SEC Championship and for
You
Peach
got
Bowl.
sick both times.
No, I didn't.
Matt,
I only got sick one time.
well, you stayed sick.
No, I didn't.
Remember? Yeah. Because then ski had to give you, then you got like vertigo and all that stuff. Yeah. The sports people need to watch.
No, that was the time that when I couldn't find my car at the New Orleans airport. That was SEC Championship when I got sick. When I almost got in a fight with the guy who's in the movie, Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about getting sick.
But then I didn't get sick the next time.
You stayed. Y'all went like 3 weeks apart.
And then I went to Nashville that year. Didn't get sick.
Babe, no. You went to the Atlanta stuff, and then we shut down in February. And so you went like SEC.
I'm talking about the year before when I went.
Well, I'm just talking about the last 3 times you've been somewhere for sports. You got sick.
I went to New Orleans for the national championship.
Okay, well I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. Pac-12's been in the playoffs twice. Big 12 4 times. Look like the Pac-12 needs the help. Yeah, trivia, but the Big 12 being in the playoff is all Oklahoma. So it's not necessarily saying that the Big 12's been in it. It's just Oklahoma's been in it. Let's see. Actually, listen to Chuck Oliver's show pretty often. He talks college football all year. He's one of the best. I'm sure Matt will agree with that. I love Chuck. Chuck's one of my favorite people in the world. He's phenomenally talented. He's awesome. I actually pushed very hard. Wow!
He scared you.
Woo!
He scared you.
Hey, Drew. Ah!
No.
He just says no and walks away.
That's not scary. Watch it. I says now. You want fingers? You want fingers? Fingers?
Well,
You thought that was hilarious.
let's see.
Tell him he's going to ride the elevators.
Okay.
Tell him.
Hey, Drew.
Drew.
He go. He go.
No, because he was like, no. Hey, Drew, Daddy, say something.
Star Wars Thunder's chance to the fans at Tiger Stadium. 100%. George Ratemeyer. They don't have an original idea. Very bored with their life. Not Chuck. Oh yeah, not talking about Chuck. Let's see. Nicholas Cantrell, Hunter Picard. We're all Matt's buds. 2455 Rockstar. Iraq has spoken. Ask Iraq. Would you blow your nose facing the camera for $1 million? Erica. Would you blow your nose facing the camera for $1 million? Erica, for $1 million to blow your nose?
I mean, I would do it like very daintily.
Daintily.
Like, very like, I don't really blow my nose. I don't
You-
need to.
You never blow your nose.
I really don't need to. Not really.
Okay. Father John David Mathern. Morning, Scone. Coward said Texas doesn't seem to fit in the SEC. My only thought was that we win, so of course they don't. LOL. In all seriousness, love the expansion and look forward to losing the permanent cross-division opponents. What's your thoughts on the pods and how the conference championship game team gets decided? Pods are a great option. I would no longer do a championship game, but if they do, just have the two teams with the best record play. Andrew Brister, what an offseason for college football. What was bigger news? What do you think is bigger news? NIL, college football playoff expansion, or UTOU? So if UTOU is the bigger picture of college football and all of expansion, then that's going to end up being the much bigger story. Sonny Williams, Mark Borch, Sydney Bonnet. A lot of people assuming anything outside the old paradigm is automatically bad. That's true. People don't like change, Sydney. That's okay though. Like in this, it is part of the human condition that we are as people resistant to change. We don't like things that are different. We like comfort. People don't like to get outside of their comfort zone and things you don't know because there's uncertainty. People don't like uncertainty. That's just a general part of the human condition. So sometimes you just forge ahead and people forget. It's like, remember whenever Twitter went from, well, some of y'all maybe don't do Twitter, but Twitter went from 140 characters to 280 characters. They like doubled the amount of characters. People are like, oh, it's too long. What's the point of a tweet? It was short, concise. And now everybody loves it. I mean, it's just, people always push back against something that's new. If you have a pod system for the SEC, what would be the tiebreaker for teams that don't play each other? The same thing that you have right now when teams don't play each other. Or if you have a three-way tie with teams that did not play each other head-to-head. You have a series of tiebreakers. It's not that hard. Let's see, from the pods, how do they determine the championship game? A lot of y'all are asking that. Let's see. John Morris, is it true Bama's going to Pac-12 conference? No. Dale Broussard, are the people you reference convicted, or are there just allegations at this point? Go read the Hush Blackwell report, Dale. Corey Davis, NIL and transfer portal will ruin teams. Saban letting world know you can go to Bama and get a million for nothing was brilliant. Wait, NIL and transfer portal will ruin teams. Saban letting the world know you can go to Bama and get a million for nothing was brilliant. They have $1 million player at every position, offense and defense. So that was definitely Nick Saban talking to recruits. The NIL and transfer portal won't ruin teams. It's just going to change. The transfer portal is just changing the structure of a team, right? But LSU benefited. Look at Mike Jones and Major Burns. Two positions of need. You went to Power 5 teams and got starting caliber players right away. Like, are you going to bemoan that? I mean, like if LSU didn't get Major Burns and Mike Jones, okay, like they would have two gigantic holes on the defensive side of the ball. So it benefited you, and it also hurt in the sense that you lost Eric Gilbert, and you just lost. Well, I mean, you aren't going to have Darren Rosenthal either way, but anyway, Troy Aber, you have to stand for something. I agree with you about LSU, and kudos to you for not donating until they take responsibility for firing people. Hey, bro, it's my school, man. See, the biggest difference, Troy, is honestly, and I don't say this to be insulting to anybody because I'm not the guy who's like, well, you didn't go to school there, you can't be a fan, blah, whatever. LSU is Louisiana's team, and, be a fan and support, and that's great. But it's different for me. I went to that school. I graduated from there. Like, I studied in Middleton Library. I had lunch in the Union with my friends. I had classes in Thoreau and Allen and Dotson and Hodges and the J Building. Like, I had to park a mile away down Skip Burtman Drive and walk to classes. I mean, that was my college experience, you know? I love LSU. And I don't like the people who are running the university engaging in illegal behavior. Am I crazy because of that? Like, I'm not. It's not okay. It's not okay. And I would much rather have people like y'all pissed at me for just speaking my truth than when I know I go put my head on the pillow at night and know, like, I'm standing up for something, as opposed to just excusing stuff so guys can play football. That's what got LSU in this mess. Hey, Brandon English, morning, Matt. Just dropped off my daughter at the Hometown Heroes basketball camp. Thanks again for sharing. You got it, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I know Brock Cantro was helping kind of organize that thing, and a lot of basketball guys, some current NBA guys, Skylar Mays, I think Garrett Temple, all participating in that camp. So a lot of, and then some kind of like older players, well, from different eras of LSU basketball. Really cool. Tony Williams, XFL, CFL, soon USFL, somewhat of a minor league system for the NFL. Not exactly, Tony. Because it's rare that guys come out of college, go to the NFL or the XFL, CFL, whatever, and then get a chance in the NFL. Let's say it doesn't happen. It's just rare. I mean, the colleges are the proving ground for the NFL. I mean, that's what it is. It is a minor league system for the NFL. I mean, you could have a 5-star kid out of high school. He goes through 3 years of college, and you realize, hey, well, look at Anthony Johnson's a great example of that. Anthony Johnson, freak, high school sack record, whatever, 5-star, number 2 player in the country, comes to LSU. Was a good player, was a starting player, not a great player, and then went undrafted. You know what I mean? If NFL teams had a draft guy straight out of high school, he'd have been a first-round pick. How do you feel about the NFL and their rules on the unvaccinated? I don't know how you can legally do that. I don't know how you can legally make someone get vaccinated. Like, again, I don't know to what extent the law or anything like that, but that was my thing. It's like, how could you force someone to get vaccinated or they lose their job? Like, I don't understand that. Let's see. Clark Tiger Davis, good morning. Tony Williams, that's why I always say ULL is a good fit for the Big 12. ULL and La Tech would be good ads for the Big 12. Sydney, by that, you almost got in a fight with Anthony Mackie. Yeah. Parrying the lead. That's a year and a half ago, Sydney. I've told that story a million times. I did not know who that was. Honest to goodness. If you watch this, you probably know, like, I'm not most up on pop culture, so I had no idea who Anthony Mackie was. For those that don't know, he's an actor who's from New Orleans. Well, after the SEC championship game against Georgia, it was me and T-Bob were standing outside by the LSU locker room because Jordy was trying to get one of the hats, the SEC championship hats that they gave on the field. So, because of course he did, because he's Jordy. And he got it, of course he did, because he's Jordy. So Jordy's like, trying to get one of the staffers or whatever to throw him a hat. And this guy walks by, Anthony Mackie, but I didn't know who he was. Just kind of a short, kind of like small dude. And he has these two like big dudes with him, obviously like bodyguards or whatever. But I didn't know who that was. Well, he comes up like just unsolicited, looks at T-Bob, and he's like, "Man, I gotta get that shirt." You can tell he was a little sauce. He's like, "Man, I gotta get that shirt. Give me that shirt." And T-Bob's like, "Oh," he's like, "What's up?" I was like, "Man, I can't give you my shirt, whatever." He's like, "I like that shirt, whatever." So they walk away, and T-Bob's like, "Man, can you believe Anthony Mack? You love my shirt." I was like, "Oh, you know that guy?" He's like, so then T-Bob, of course, is blown away that I didn't know who that was, but he's in like I guess the comic book movies, plays one of the characters in the comic book movies. I'm like, I had no idea, man. And at this point, remember, this is when I was dog sick. We did not have whiskey and wine after that game. Like, I felt like death. It was like literally the sickest I've ever felt in my life was that day. And so, whatever, a few minutes pass, they keep going. Jordy gets his hat, whatever. So we start to walk out. Well, we go toward the exit, and Anthony Mackie and his bodyguards, entourage, whatever we call it, are still standing right there. Well, like right by they're standing by the exit. And so we're walking by, and he starts up with T-Bob's shirt again. And T-Bob's like, he's like, "Hey, man," T-Bob goes, "Hey, man, can I get a picture?" And so I go, "Hey, man, look, I'll take a picture for you." And so I get my phone out, and I'm holding my phone up like this. And Mackie's like, "Look," he's like, "I'll take a picture if you give me that shirt." And T-Bob's like, "Oh, man, I can't give you my shirt." And so I'm like this, and they're like, just a couple feet from me, right? Like here. And so I'm standing here like this because I'm gonna take the picture. And Mackie's talking to T-Bob, and he does this. And he grabs my phone. Grabs my hand, grabs my phone. And I'm like, oh, I didn't let go. He's like, "Don't be that guy." I'm like, "Hey, man." It's like, "Fuck you." Excuse me. It's like, I work with him. You just want to take a picture with him. I was taking a picture. And like, it got a little escalated, and then he kind of calmed down. But I'm telling you, man, if he had like smashed my phone, I'd have punched him in the face. Now, the two giant guys with him probably would have killed me, but he was getting slugged right in the freaking nose, excuse me. That's like 2 F's on one in Scone. I can't believe I just did that. Sorry to all the kids that are watching on Saturday morning, my bad. Because like I would literally rather you steal my wallet than my phone. Like my phone is, look at, I mean, all this stuff like this, my content, my social media, that's me outwardly facing to the world is my phone. I can get new credit cards, cancel whatever, use Apple Pay anyway. So that's my Anthony Mackie story. Brian Eddie Penn, good morning, Matt from Bozeman, Montana. Haven't been on a few days. What do you think about Okie and the other Texas school coming to the SEC? I think they probably be on suicide watch. Like they can't beat the man, join them. I'm for it. I'm for expansion. I'm for solidifying your status among the or at the top of the college football food chain. So yeah, Oklahoma and Texas certainly does that. Yeah, by the way, 64 watching on YouTube. Please smash the like button. You've probably been sick since you rode T-Bob's car. Oh, Brad, I got T-Bob's car was missing. He got a new car though now. That's good for him. Troy, when will you combine Facebook, YouTube comments in one app? Great question. Hopefully soon. It's a software. It's the software we use for whiskey and wine called VStream, which allows me to have one stream that I can send to multiple platforms and the comments populate in one place. There's just a lot of equipment you need to make that work. And Guarantee has it, and so I'm talking about using that setup here for Morning Scone. Why is TCU not a good candidate for moving to the SEC with DFW? Because, David, there's more Texas and Texas A&M fans in DFW than there are TCU fans. Besides, 10 years, it's the same question like with Tulane. Well, Tulane's in New Orleans. Yeah, but there's more LSU fans in New Orleans than Tulane fans. Or like UCF. Yeah, UCF is in Orlando, but there's more Florida State fans in Orlando than there are UCF fans. So, and it's not just about market size in that respect anymore, David, because the SEC network 10 years ago, when the SEC expanded 10 years ago, the intention was expanding your television footprint for the benefit of the SEC, of launching the SEC network with as much cable distribution as possible. And every major cable provider in the country carried SEC network at launch. Remember, I've told you this, but the Big Ten network had a 10-year head start on the SEC network, and the SEC network at launch had more distribution than the Big Ten network did after 10 years in existence. So that was a big part of it. So anyway, now it's far less about market size and distribution because you've already got that for the SC network. It's more about adding brand names and having that cachet. So, I mean, you do that with Texas and Oklahoma. That's undeniable. Why did Tulane leave the SEC and added Vandy? I missed the rival game against Tulane. Now, Brian, Vandy was an original member. Let's see. Yeah, Vanderbilt was a founding member. The founding members were Bama, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, LSU, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt. Those are the ones that were original, along with Swanee, Georgia Tech, and Tulane. Swanee, Georgia Tech, and Tulane have all left. Tulane left in 1966, which is probably the dumbest decision any athletic department has made in the history of intercollegiate athletics. Paul Pollard, will Bama's influence lessen with the entrance of Texas and OU? How does the SEC keep Texas and OU from taking over the power of the current 14? So Bama's influence lessen the entrance. How does the SEC keep them from taking over? Taking over? I don't know what you mean. Like, are you talking about taking over on the field? Or like in negotiations and conversations? I guess that's the question I have you are asking there. Because on the field, I mean, just play it out. If they're good, they're good, whatever. But with respect to conversations or, balance of power and who gets their way, you don't walk in and call shots. I mean, the example you gave earlier, it's like if you're on a little life raft out in the middle of the ocean and the giant boat comes by and picks you up, like, you don't get to start bossing everybody on the giant boat around. Like, they just saved you. Brian, nobody read the report. It's 1,400 pages. So, Brian, it's not 1,400 pages, and I did read it. Dale, I've not read the Hush Blackwell report. Does it reveal someone was convicted of rape? Hey, Dale, was anybody at Baylor convicted of rape? But our Browse got fired. And their AD and their president. You want to know why? Because when you're in a position of authority and people with legitimate claims come forward and you make those victims to feel like they are actually at fault and you dismiss and ignore their claims, you're a criminal. you sure as hell shouldn't be working in any type of university administration role. So nauseating to me. The amount of adult humans who continue to excuse this behavior is absolutely nauseating. I just lose so much faith in humanity every time we talk about this. The amount of adult people with children who just consistently excuse this behavior because of a fucking football program. Kiss my ass, man. Whatever. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Y'all have a great day. See you.